right. So today, instead of the GoPro, we're going to be filming on the iPhone. Battery just died on the GoPro. So vlog number 3 coming to you from an iPhone. Hopefully you can hear me and get good audio on this. But I'm on the way back from a class in Columbia, South Carolina. Actually from several classes, a full day at the University of South Carolina. So got some history and some political science courses going on there. Apologize for the sun. And it's a long day. I get there about 8 and leave right around just before 6 p.m. So it's quite a day. Then it's about an hour and 20 minutes worth of a ride to get back home to my house. So good times. Sometimes the alone time though is good for you, man. That personal kind of quiet time where you can be alone in your thoughts and collect yourself and think about your day or the world in general or what's going on around you. I think it's good for you sometimes. The soul and the mind sometimes needs to be alone and with itself, and you can kind of dissolve back down into some simplicity. But today, probably just going to talk to you a little bit about an upcoming video. I'm going to do my first gun review. It's already been reviewed many times on YouTube, but I'm just going to do it, give my perspective on it. And it's the Smith & Wesson M&P Shield in chambered in 9mm. Excellent gun. I've carried it virtually every day for 2 years, a little over 2 years now. It's very accurate. It's very reliable. I haven't had any malfunctions. It's got a little bit of wear on it from holsters and things like that, inside the waistband, outside the waistband, and off body carry. It's pulled all the different duties. So I'm gonna let you guys take a look at that little pistol. I'll get it down, tell you what I think about it, show you some things about it, show you a few holster options and that kind of thing. It's definitely a good pistol. As thin as it is, with the capacity that it has, and as good as that trigger is on it, it's really awesome. It doesn't need an upgraded trigger. In my opinion, it beats my Glock 19 factory trigger with no modifications necessary. So, gonna do a review on that, and also probably a review of the H&K MR556 upper receiver. I didn't get the entire rifle. I didn't think it was necessary because it's designed to be able to fit onto any military spec AR-15 lower. So I'll review the H&K MR556 upper receiver, and I think you guys will like it too. I won't reveal anything other than it has proven to be very accurate. It's been perfectly reliable, both suppressed and unsuppressed. So it's cool. It really is. It's cool. It's a little heavy, but it's cool as long as you have the right expectations of it. So if you know what you're getting when you get into it, and you don't have any off the wall priorities for it, and you're reasonable within what you want it to be able to accomplish, I promise it'll get the job done, especially with heavy ammunition. So we'll discuss that in a future video. So that'll be 2 gun reviews coming up, and I'm going to continue to keep doing the vlogs as we go because I enjoy doing them. I think it's pretty fun. I like talking to you guys, and heck, talking to myself is what I'm really doing. So but having said all that, something else to discuss today would be law enforcement. So, having served in a law enforcement capacity, both in the military and as a civilian, those of you out there that want to get into law enforcement as a career and a profession, let me just give you a little bit of insight and things to think about before you do that. It's not something for people on a power trip. Type A personalities are probably safer in that occupation because they're less likely to be taken advantage of. But I feel like you have to be a type A personality that knows how to turn it on and off. In other words, you have to be able to flip that switch at the appropriate moment in space and time and control situations violently if necessary. But the fact of the matter is that that scenario that I'm discussing right now is a very small portion of your life and your career in law enforcement. Extremely small. The vast majority of what you're going to be doing is helping people. You're looking out for your fellow man. To protect and serve is not just some cliche thing that we say. It's the real deal. You're there to protect people and their property and their lives. That's your job, and their liberty. So it's only in your interest to take away liberty from a person who is depriving someone else of their liberty. That is the key deciding factor in any decision that you make as a law enforcement officer. You shouldn't be there to harass people. You shouldn't even be that interested in stirring up trouble. You're out there to respond when a person's liberty is deprived by another person. And if you keep that idea at the forefront of your mind when you're doing police operations, investigations, or just simply out on your beat or on patrol, it will take you a long way. It'll take you a long way with the community and the way that they feel about you. It'll take you a long way with the judge and the relationship that you have with them whenever you try and prosecute your cases before the judge. And it'll help you with your conscience because you'll feel like you lived up to your oath to uphold and protect the Constitution of the United States of America, because that is more important than any criminal prosecution you can ever have, is to defend the Constitution. If you cannot accomplish your job as a law enforcement officer while adhering to the Constitution, then you do not have a case. You have no case, and you have no right to deprive someone of their liberty without the due process of law. Fifth Amendment. So remember that, guys. Remember that. If you think you're going to get into law enforcement and it's going to be some Wild West cowboy show and gunfights and, thugs and violence and stuff all the time, nope. A whole lot of helping out Mrs. Jones get across the street, responding to car accidents and hurt people and trying to help them, and the town drunk who's drunk every single day and he's always in the same place causing the same ruckus, but he doesn't mean any harm. That's what being a cop is really about. It's about being a part of your community and bettering your community in a way that respects the Constitution. Period. That's what it means to be a good cop. And if you can't abide by that, and if you don't believe in that, stay away from law enforcement jobs. Period. Stay away from it. Because one of two things is going to happen. Either you're going to get in trouble legally because you fudged something on a case, or you said something that really wasn't true, or you implied something, or something with evidence, or you're going to deprive someone of their life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. One of the two. One of the two. It's inevitable. Inevitable. So, for all you guys out there, and gals, that want to get into law enforcement, a couple things you got to come to terms with. One, are you the type of person that can flip that switch on or off in a split second in regards to violence of action? If you are, then evaluate your morality in regards to the Constitution and humanism, the human condition. Evaluate that. If you're a sympathetic person to that condition, maybe law enforcement's good for you. If you're not too concerned about money and you meet all those other criteria and you're just looking for something that has some upward mobility available, but not really concerned about a huge sum of money at the end of your career and stuff like that, or you have some other means to do that and handle that situation, maybe law enforcement's for you. But if you're a family-oriented person that wants to have security for yourself and your family, and you don't meet all those criteria, law enforcement is not for you. It takes a lot out of you. It takes a lot of energy from you. It takes a lot of mental stress. The mental stress is huge. You'll be so frustrated with the way things go and the way bond hearings go and the way repeat offenders get away with it. I mean, it'll take a toll on you. It really will as a person. It'll make you question what you're doing, why you're doing it, why you're putting this effort, and why are you risking your life? The vast majority of police officers are good people. Super people. They really are. They are there to help. They have good intentions. They love their neighbors. And then there's a small percentage that have no business wearing a badge or a star. But just remember that percentage is small. And that 9 times out of 10, if you're in a situation at odds with law enforcement, you probably did something to put yourself in that situation. And if you're in that situation, you need to evaluate the behavior that put yourself in that situation and correct it immediately. And guess what? You probably won't get shot, and you probably won't get in that much trouble. So you got to use the scientific method of observation and make those decisions based on that observation of how you can avoid issues with law enforcement. So really it comes down to how you're living your life, who you're hanging out with, and what you're doing at any given time. So just wanted to talk about that a little bit. I can definitely talk to it. I've done military policing and civilian law enforcement, and in any given week it was about 15 minutes of fun and 50 to 60 hours of pure torture, paperwork and mundane office, oh gosh, paper pushing nightmare is what it is. And then you know, you have the politics of the office itself. And I mean, most people, you can stay above politics, but at some point you'll see it affect you. Even if you're staying above it and keeping your nose clean, you'll see it affect you, and you're just like, really? You know, that person was promoted, or that person wasn't promoted, you know, little things like that. But that's anywhere in any job. Doesn't matter whether it's a company, corporation, military, or law enforcement. You'll see things like that are just, you know, what we would consider unfair. But, you know, if you're in it and you believe in what you're doing, don't let that stuff bother you, because it all comes around in the end, and things get straightened out. If you do good work, you will be rewarded for it eventually. So that's the key thing. So anybody who's thinking about getting into it, consider what I've said. Anybody who's in it and thinking about getting out of it, think about what I've said, because sometimes it is better to walk away than let it control your life, or eventually end up in a position where you wouldn't normally be because of circumstance. And then if you're someone who can deal with all that, keep your head up and keep doing a good job, and remember the Constitution. Never forget it. Never ever forget it. Especially the Fourth Amendment. Live, breathe, eat, and sleep that Fourth Amendment. People have a right to be secure in their lives and their things. Don't violate that. Use the proper channels, and when the stars align, you'll make good arrests, and those arrests will be solid. They will be solid cases that are they're impossible to defend in court, and you can prove beyond a reasonable doubt that someone's guilty when you abide by the Constitution. The ones that get away, don't worry about that. It'll come back around in time. You'll have another shot at them. So remember that. Keep that in mind, guys. Signing off on this vlog, coming back with some gun reviews for the next couple videos. Thank you guys, and have a great day.